Hello, and welcome to this special video. Um, as part of your assignments or the setups that you need to have in place before your program starts. So we have looked at GitHub account creation. We have also looked at Git Bash installation and setup. We have also looked at VS Code, these three. And so I am going to be adding one more. Actually, there's a series of videos there's a series of configurations that needs to occur on your system before you start the DevOps Cybersecurity and Cloud Computing program here at LionTech Solutions Canada. Yeah, and so in this video, we want to introduce you to the most popular operating system, right? So this is called Linux. So in this video, I'm going to be guiding you how to set up a Linux computer on your Windows system. So this video is strictly for Windows users. And my recommendation is that you should be using at least Windows 11. Okay, Windows 11 is the requirement, or Windows 10 at least. Okay. So let's get started. So we are going to be talking about the Windows subsystem for Linux. So this is a technology that allows you to have a Linux computer on your Windows computer. So let's investigate what is WSL. So if you just type WSL on any browser, you can see WSL2. So this link is going to be in the description, but it describes what Windows subsystem for Linux is all about. And so this is so important because it's also part of your first day at work. So when you get hired by any company as a DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, one of the tools they will require you to install on your work machine is WSL. Before WSL, we used to have what is known as the traditional virtual box or virtual machines, right? And that needed to, like, you had to install VirtualBox, and you hear about ISO images, very complicated process. But with WSL, which is a new technology for Windows system to compete with Mac operating system, it becomes so easy for you to have multiple operating systems, Linux distributions on your Windows computer. So WSL stands for Windows Subsystem for Linux. Permit me to turn off my video, okay? So if you look at it, it says what developers can access the power of Windows and Linux at the time on a Windows machine. So you can have two operating systems running simultaneously or at the same time on your Windows machine. So you can see Linux distributions like Ubuntu, OpenSUSE, Kali, Debian can all be installed on your Windows computer. Great, right? Yeah. So this is a great place to start in terms of, hands-on on Linux commands, because of course, that's where we are going to start. And so it's so important for you to have Linux installed on your Windows before the class starts, because it won't be nice if by the time you start you don't have this. So it's good that you install it now and then start familiarizing yourself with Linux commands, right? So how do you install this? It's very easy. You can see it says what you can now install everything you need to run WSL with a single command. Open PowerShell in administrator mode by right-clicking and selecting Run as Administrator, and then enter the command WSL -- or -- install. And then, of course, then you have to restart your machine. That's it. So let's see. So go to your search bar, see where I went to, my search bar here. And you can see I already have, Windows PowerShell pop up, but assume you don't have it, right? You type what? Windows, okay? Windows PowerShell. And the instruction or the guidance is to run as administrator. Run as administrator. Run as administrator. I emphasize this because often people just click on Windows PowerShell and then just go to open. No. So when you go to open, it's going to open as a normal user. And so when we get to user administration on systems, you understand the difference between an admin user and a normal user. Very, very important foundation stuff for anybody vying careers in tech. Run as administrator, then you accept the prompt to make changes to your system. There you go, right? So now we are just going to, there you go, run what? The command is WSL hyphen, okay, install. So this is going to install the Windows subsystem for Linux on your system. For this to run, you need to have at least Windows 10 or updated Windows 11 operating system, Windows 11 on your laptop. Otherwise, you're going to encounter errors. But Windows 10 is just good. See that? It says we're downloading the Windows subsystem for Linux 2.6.3. So that's the first thing. So it downloads from the internet. And you can see, then of course, what now is going to install the Windows subsystem for Linux. One command. And we are going to talk about Linux commands. Okay. My next videos now we're looking at how to work with your WSL. And that is a great place to start because I want us to start there so that before we start our class February 7th, you are already very familiar with the command line. So the next video I'm going to be creating, or next tutorial, is going to be, command line familiarity. Okay, see that? So of course, what? See, one command. First, what? Downloaded the Windows subsystem for Linux WSL versions 2.6.3. It got it installed, and now you see it's giving us a version of Ubuntu. So this is going to so how fast this download on your system also depends on the speed of your internet. Okay, like that. A very good internet connection. This should, download very fast for you. Okay. Okay, great. So you can see that quite fast in terms of how it downloads. Okay. So now it's going to launch. It's going to launch. This might take a while. Nice one. So it's provisioning the new WS instance. So now it wants you to enter the username. So I can use the backspace. So by default, it's going to capture whatever username you have on your computer. But let's say this is what this is, I'm on Prof Prince. Okay. Let's just say LionTech, LionTech demo. Okay. So that's the username account. And then, of course, you have to input the password. The password here must warn you is a secret, so you will not see the numbers. But I want to advise you, use 4-digit numbers that you can easily, in fact, let your password be numbers so that you can easily remember them, right? I always do 2020, so I'll do 2020, and you can see hit enter. Again, what? 2020, and then hit enter. It says, sorry, password don't match. Try again. I'll say yes. Okay. 2020, 2020, and what? 2020 again, 2020, and you can see password has now been updated successfully. So at this level, if I just do cd this, you can see this is where I am. Right. So from this point, I want us to go ahead because we're going to open this Ubuntu on an even nicer interface. So we can go to an application called Microsoft Store. See that? Microsoft Store. And you can see this is Microsoft Store right there. Open it up. And we are going to look for an application on Microsoft Store. And that application is called Windows Terminal. So we're going to open our Ubuntu using Windows Terminal, and I'm going to show you how to pin that to taskbar. So let's go at Windows Terminal. Okay, there you go. So Windows Terminal is an application. So this is going to be the app. If you don't have it installed already, once you click here, you're going to see the option that says Get. Okay, Get just means install it. But see, you open it up. Okay, you can see now because I already have it, it says open. But for you're going to see Get Get, and then all you have to do is to Get. Okay, that Get is going to download for you. So now let's just open this. So once you open up your Windows terminal, okay, so you can see now you open up Windows terminal, and then you can what? You can open up your Ubuntu. This is the Ubuntu that we just downloaded, right? Open Ubuntu, and you can see there you go, right? So now, how do you then work on the command line? So this is a Linux distribution directly on your Windows computer. Okay, so you need to get this in place before the class starts. That's why we decided to move the class at least 1 month ahead so that we are able to walk you through this foundation stuff so that by the time we get started, everybody is comfortable. I hope that you enjoyed this video. So in terms of what we have looked at, of course, we began with PowerShell. We used that to install and configure WSL and then install Ubuntu. And then we have, okay, the Microsoft Store application that we just looked at. And of course, what? See, then what? You can then what? So from the Microsoft Store, we can what? We can download even different versions of Ubuntu. See that? Yeah. Talk about this. But for now, just the first one you had is just good enough for you. So once you get this, you've made a great progress. And then we start looking at introducing you to building your confidence using the command line interface so that you become so confident building the skills step by step. But again, the point is to make sure that you are ready before we get started. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. I hope that it helps you build your confidence and take away the fear that tech is just for the techie. Tech is for everybody as long as you want to learn. Thank you so much and God bless. Bye-bye.